The rope. On the 13th of June 2026, Maria Eduarda Rodrigues de Freitas, a 21-year-old Brazilian university student, paid for a guided extreme sports outing at the abandoned Ponte do Esqueleto, the Skeleton Bridge, near Limeira in São Paulo state. Before her jump, she posted a joke on Instagram. "Who was the crazy person who let me jump off a bridge?" The viral video shows three instructors lifting her over their heads at the edge for what they called an airplane-style launch. She had the helmet on, there were ropes on the bridge. None of them were clipped to her harness. Two of the men threw her out into open air, completely unattached, off a structure about 130 feet high. As she fell, someone filming screams, "Guys, the rope!" pointing at a line still sitting on the bridge. An off-duty nurse reached her and said she was conscious before she died at the scene. The operation was unlicensed. Three instructors, ages 32, 27, and 42, were arrested in flagrante while trying to flee and charged with homicide with eventual intent. They told police they couldn't remember who was supposed to check her gear. The last rider. The 10th of October 2022, Canoa Quebrada Beach in Aracati, in Brazil's Ceará state. Sergio Murilo Lima de Santana, a 39-year-old tourist from Belém, had been on holiday with his partner for about 6 days when they tried a beach zipline that glides over the dunes. It was a windy afternoon, and Sergio filmed another tourist, a woman, completing the run with no trouble at all. Then he took his turn, phone out, recording himself. He was gliding along the cable, harnessed in, doing nothing wrong, when the support structure holding the line gave way. The pole tipped, the cable lost its tension, and Sergio plummeted onto the sand dunes below. He didn't jump or let go. The whole thing collapsed under him. Emergency workers rushed him to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The chilling part is that he captured his own final seconds. The command. In early July 2021, on a Sunday, 25-year-old Colombian lawyer Yesenia Alejandra Morales Gomez went bungee jumping for the first time with her boyfriend at a viaduct near Amagá, in the municipality of Fredonia, Antioquia, run by an operator called Sky Bungee Jumping Amagá. They'd put a harness on her, but the elastic cord, the actual thing that stops you, hadn't been attached yet. Her boyfriend, standing nearby, already had his full safety system on. According to the mayor of Fredonia, an instructor shouted the jump signal meant for the boyfriend. Yesenia, confused and rushed, thought it was for her, so she stepped off, harness on, no cord connected to anything. She fell about 150 feet, head first. Her boyfriend climbed down and tried CPR. Medical reports say she went into cardiac arrest during the fall, her heart stopping before impact. The second jump. The 21st of July 2015. The Tablate Bridge, near Lanjarón, outside Granada, in southern Spain. Cleo de Abreu was a 23-year-old British woman, a London fashion student visiting family in Spain, who'd booked a bungee jump with a licensed adventure sports company. And she'd already done it once. Her first jump that day went fine. On the next attempt, the supervisor attached her harness, then turned away to deal with other participants. The investigation found a miscommunication. Cleo jumped before she was told to, before the equipment had been made safe. With the setup incomplete, she didn't get the controlled rebound. She collided with the wall of a smaller, ancient bridge sitting directly beneath the one she'd jumped from, and reports say she died instantly. The Guardia Civil charged 2 men with manslaughter, the owner of the adventure company and the jump supervisor. Investigators concluded the supervisor had not carried out his function with due care. The tree. On the 15th of October, 2023, Dan Owen, a 47-year-old American and director of an international school in Haiphong, Vietnam, was on vacation in Laos with his 15-year-old son, Cooper. They went to Green Jungle Park, a zipline attraction near Luang Prabang, and rode the course with a guide. The hardware worked perfectly. That's not what got them. As father and son were descending from a tree at the end of the zipline, they were swarmed, a source close to U.S. Diplomats described hundreds of what looked like Asian giant hornets, though the exact species was never confirmed. Both were stung more than 100 times across their bodies, which were covered in red spots. They were rushed to a local clinic, then to Luang Prabang Provincial Hospital, already in critical condition. Cooper was unconscious on arrival and died about half an hour later. Dan arrived conscious and died roughly 3 hours after that. The doctor said both suffered severe anaphylactic shock. The park called it an unforeseeable, extraordinary natural occurrence. 3 on the line. Around 10:30 a.m. on the 19th of November, 2019, a 48-year-old South Korean tourist was ziplining in Vang Vieng, Laos, the country's notorious adventure tourism town. He'd flown in that Sunday with 2 colleagues from a company in Busan, and they'd booked the zipline tour through a local agency. The 3 of them went out on the line one after another, the man bringing up the rear behind his 2 co-workers. The cable on this commercial zipline was held up, in part, by a tree about 23 feet high. That tree collapsed. As it fell, the line slackened suddenly. The 2 colleagues ahead got off with scratches and bruises on their legs and backs. But the 48-year-old fell from the line and was killed. His name was never released in English-language reporting. Local officials launched an investigation into possible negligence and announced safety checks on all 8 zipline attractions in the town. The Korean embassy sent a consul and asked police for a thorough inquiry, and the man's family flew in the next day to bring his body home. The Superman leg. The 13th of April, 2019. The flight of the Gibbon Canopy zipline near Mae Kampong in Chiang Mai Province, Thailand. Spencer Charles Donaldson, a 25-year-old Canadian from Fruitvale, British Columbia, was riding the course with his girlfriend. The company said he'd completed orientation and was within the 275-pound weight limit. Shortly after he was released from the start of the line, the cable failed and he fell. His family says it happened on the Superman leg, and they blame an improperly assembled cable and the absence of a backup safety line, meaning one failure left nothing holding him. The company's own preliminary investigation pointed to a metallurgic failure on a swing. Reports on the fall distance conflict wildly, from 39 feet to about 330 feet into a creek below. This wasn't the operator's first incident. In 2016, 3 Israeli tourists were hurt in a mid-air collision, and earlier still, 2 women crashed and were hospitalized. The operator reportedly accepted full responsibility, not for lifting. On the 22nd of October 2019, Dean Anson Sanderson, a 50-year-old Australian father of 3 from Adelaide, was on a bucket list trip through far north Queensland with his wife Shannon. They booked jungle surfing canopy tours, a zip line through the Daintree rainforest, and were sent down one line together, in tandem, between 2 platforms. Partway across, the line lost momentum, and then it gave way. Witnesses said it snapped. Both of them fell up to 82 feet to the forest floor. Shannon survived with serious injuries. Dean did not. He died of blunt force trauma from the fall. The coronial inquest uncovered the detail that defines this case. New wire rope grips had been installed on the course, and the invoice for them carried a warning that they were not for lifting. The operations manager admitted he hadn't seen that warning, and that he was unaware of the legal requirement for annual engineer inspections. Her harness. The 30th of October, 2021. The La Jolla Zip Zoom zipline on the La Jolla Indian Reservation near Palma Valley in San Diego County, California. Joaquin Romero was a 34-year-old employee, working the platform that day, clipping riders onto the line. The course had a weight limit of 250 pounds, and Romero reportedly feared what would happen if too much weight hit the system at once. He was helping a woman get clipped in when she started sliding out onto the line before she was fully secured. Romero grabbed her harness to stop her, and that pulled both of them off the platform and out over the drop, about 70 feet above the ground. Because he believed they would both fall due to their combined weight, Romero let go of the harness and sacrificed himself for the woman's safety. The woman stayed on the line and was uninjured. CAL FIRE crews found him with major trauma, raised him with a low-angle rope rescue system, and airlifted him out. But he died on November 1. His cause of death was multiple blunt force injuries. Thanks so much for rocking with the channel for real. Hit that subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss a single one. And got a topic you want me to dig into next? Drop it in the comments.